going on, guys? I'm DZK, and today I'm going to be making some dubstep in Ableton Live 10. I'm going to be basically just going through a track that I'm making right now, and I'm going to be working on some of the drops, some of the intro, stuff like that, and I'm going to be showing you a lot of my sound design techniques, and I'm ready to get into it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and play for you guys what I have so far. Let's turn this up. So that's like basically all I got so far. I can go through and I can show you some of the basses, what they are made of. This is the main head honcho bass. It's super cool. I love this bass. That's why I decided to use it as the main bass. It's like a classic kind of FM bass. I feel like every time I say FM, like someone gets mad. So it's FM from B, and then these are both. I think these are both. What is this from? Is this? Yeah. So these are both cymatics wave tables. This one is from oscillator A is on 2 unison, minus 3 octaves, and then oscillator B is 0 octaves, 1 unison, and then I have an HN12 filter on the LFO1 with the shape of all the stuff you guys know, frequency modulation and the resonance and the cutoff. And then if I go into the effects, obviously the hyperdimension, super powerful stuff, and the compressor just makes it louder basically. EQ kind of makes the sound more dense, and the magic part here, the filter, just gives it an extra resonance of like a more vowel kind of sound. Because the thing about my music, one second. The thing about my music is that I'm really into like the kind of classic dubstep sounds, or bro step you might call it. Well, that's way too small. Let's do 90. Okay, that's good. The classic bro step. Oh, I forgot you can just size it like that. There we go. Okay, perfect. Like, you know, Zomboid, Skrillex, you know, Ray Volpe, all those kind of producers that have the kind of it's a lot of people think of it as like, you know, kind of generic, but there's a difference between generic and like classic sounding. So I really strive for that kind of classic sound. So that's that bass, and then it has this variation, which is basically just a different LFO, and then it's a bar long instead of half a bar. So basically this, let's see. So if I play just these two basses together, let's see if I can do that here. So those two basses are exactly the same. One's just a different LFO to make it longer, like that. Which I guess you could do in the same bass. I just thought it was easier to do. And then you have this bass, which is just this one kind of shot, which just kind of brings it all together and rounds it up, and that is this. It's basically the same bass, except it's got a different wavetable on the second oscillator B, and just there's a few different variations I can just go through. You guys can see. And then there's this up here, which is if I go into my basses group right here, I have these clips deactivated because this was my old bass that I had. Actually, I can probably play that for you just so you can hear. I actually have that. I still have this bass in the song. It's just in a different part, and it's not like the main bass. But I just kind of took that out because then I have this thing in here. It's just a little reverse thing. And then I have, this is McGraw. This is McGraw here. This I made this before, and then I just bounced it back in so that it saves CPU and all that stuff. But yeah, it's I wish I could show you guys the patch, but I cannot. Different time, I'll go into growls and stuff. Promise you that. Okay, let's close all these. Let's look at the drums and percussion, because that's always the funnest part. What the? So yeah, pretty basic stuff. And then we have all of the other elements in the chord patch here. We got an ARP. I'll just solo it up. Pretty cool ARP. Then we got these chord stabs. Pluck box, I should say. These are the chord stabs right here. You know the thing. Oh, I always have those. And then just this. This is my kind of secret ingredient, is just this siren in the back. It's super, super quiet, but it's just kind of there to add, just fill in some frequencies that wouldn't usually be there. So let's listen to the kick and the snare and the percussion and the chords all together. And then so you can hear that, and then this is how it sounds with the. So it just adds a little bit more like ambiance to it and makes it sound a little bit more kind of. So I do that for 2 bars. Is that what bars are? I keep getting confused as to what actually a bar is. And then we go back to this. And that snare rolling in. There's that bass. I really like this bass because I feel like it sounds a lot like if you just barely tap it, you get the reverb effect because it's a reverb filter on it, but then if you hold it down, you don't get that. So it's super, super cool. And it's pretty easy too. Basically, you can make whatever bass or whatever you want, and then just go to the filter, and then go to the reverb, and then just put it like around here. So it's at minus 17 frequencies, and it's going this way. So it's going back and forth. I completely forgot the hotkey to how to change it like that, but I swear to God I'm gonna find out, and then I'm gonna let you guys know, because I heard it somewhere in a video or something, and then I completely forgot how to do it. And I think it was like Command. It wasn't Command A, was it? I'm just gonna. Oh God. No, not. I hope I didn't do anything. So yeah, the reverb filter, super awesome. So you can actually hear what it sounds if I turn it off. It sounds completely different. It sounds completely different. And then it gives it almost like a reversed quality to it, which is super sick. Yeah. My serums are huge when I use this screen. Okay, so let's go. What's this? That's just another bass. Oh, this is the Moonboy Giant Alien. I don't know where I'm gonna find a place to put that in the song, but I really want to, because it's a freaking awesome bass. And then there's this. This is a variation of this bass. I just, when I go, God, I need to freaking make this smaller. I go into the second LFO where it's goes to the to this, and then slowly goes down in pitch. So yeah, that is how I did that. Let's go. This is this kind of deep house bass. Oh, no. This is pretty cool. It's a preset called Classic But More. And then I can't remember what I did to it. You can go and look at the actual preset and see what I changed about it, but I basically just made it sound a little bit more, have a little bit more higher harmonics. That's hard to say. Higher harmonics. Fuck. Okay. And then I found this vocal sample. One of my favorite kind of parts of this is this sound right here. It sounds so like Stranger Things meets Jaws. Let's see, what else do we have? We have this little ARP. I'm still not sure if I like that snare. It might be a little bit too punchy. I might just I like the glass like breaking kind of sound, but I don't like that kind of like high pitched kind of dubstep snare that's in that snare. I think I might want to change it out for like something that sounds a little bit more organic, but and then these chords, yes, the chords. These chords. I made these chords again. It's just basically a super saw. So I bounced them out so you can't see the patch or anything, but I don't think I saved the patch. So I repeat that same progression until it goes in. Has a sidechain on it, so it sounds a little bit weird by itself. But so the thing is like when I make a song, I listen to a bunch of other songs that like I feel like I want to make a song that sounds like a combination of all those songs. So like I was listening to Back Once Again by Zomboy. What other songs was I listening to? Oh, Move Back by Slander and what's the other guy's name? I forgot. Slander and some other guy. I forgot who it is. You can leave. It's probably gonna be like right here, or right here. Yeah, I was listening to that, and then so like I listen to a bunch of different songs, and I find out which songs I want it to sound like, and then from there I kind of make my own thing, make it sound super original. And I have heard a lot of you guys say stuff like, like, oh, it's the same sound over and over again or whatever, each one of your songs or whatever. But the fact is that a lot of people aren't making like, ooh, zoom so far in. A lot of people aren't making dubstep the way I am these days, like, because I started making dubstep like 2 or 3 years ago, where I started getting good. And at that time, it's not that long ago. So at that time, I was listening. The first dubstep that I listened to was like a mixture of old school and like new stuff coming out. So like so like 2016, like, so I was listening to like Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites and like Neon Grave and like what other stuff? Like Dion Timmer, a bunch of like, so like at that something about that time or whatever, I guess, is where I got my inspiration of where I want my music to go as far as the sound, because I'm really into um, sticking to a like a I'm really into sticking to like a pattern of uh, a classic kind of sound, because that's what I like. And so whenever I hear a a song that sounds like similar to something that I would make, I'm like, yeah, I like that song because that's kind of like what I'm trying to do, you know? So that's one of the reasons why. So if you guys are wondering what my post-processing is on any of this stuff, it's basically all the same stuff on everything. I have EQ, saturator, teeny bit of reverb on the basses, because you don't want to have too much reverb on your basses. You want it to be it. Sometimes I don't even put any reverb on my basses, so it just sounds super dry and clean. But for a lot of my basses, I do put, but just a teeny bit, and I turn the dryness, I turn the wetness down really far down, and I turn I cannot talk. I'd turn the decay time down, and I'd turn the size. I like a big room, you know. So I don't really make that much of small rooms. And then obviously I have a compressor for the side chain and the kick and the snare. That's on that, yeah, glue compressor obviously. So sometimes some basses I'll have like a glue compressor on it, or that I'll have an OTT. Or actually, you know what? I don't have like any OTTs on any of these basses, so I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna see how it will sound if I add an OTT to any of these. Let's go to this one first. Okay, so I already have a saturator, I have reverb, and I have all that. Let's go to, should I use X for OTT or just Ableton OTT? Is it the same thing? Is X for OTT and Ableton OTT the same thing? Which I realize OTT stands for over the top. Not actually true, but close, I feel like. Okay, I'll just multi-band dynamic. Here we go. Okay, let's frickin' shit ton this OTT on here. That already sounds really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna copy this because why the hell not? I'm just gonna put this over the saturator but under the reverb. So now I can, and then this bass as well, we can put an OTT on there. Okay. So yeah, also, if you're a new producer, and you're using Ableton or FL Studio, it doesn't really matter which DAW you're using, but also be aware that it does matter which order you put your effects in. So like for instance, I'll show you real quick. That bass sounds super tight, but if I move this OTT on top of the compressors, you can hear how shitty it'll sound. It brings a bunch of feedback, and it just kind of makes it sound a little too muddy. That sounds so crisp and freaking filthy, man. Guys, comment down below if you think this track is a banger, because I very much want to release it. Because a lot of this stuff is super like new to me as far as using Ableton and stuff. So I'm hoping that I can keep to my schedule of monthly releases. If you don't follow me already on SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all that stuff, the links are in the description or right here. So yeah, that has been Studio Time.